Tell you what, that is my jam.
It's a bop, ain't it? What's up, everybody? It is the PR Project, episode number 98. I am Aaron Worldwide,
I am Gary's a runner.
and yeah, we're here to talk running. We're here to talk all of our cool, usual stuff. How you doing today, Gary? How's it going?
I'm doing really well. I had a really good weekend. I don't think it went as well for some of us, as you can see by the lack of a full squad here. We can get into that if you want.
I don't think there's a lack of a full squad. I think the full squad is here. I think
You're right. You're right.
me and
You're
you
right.
are the two only.
It just took me a while to get here, guys.
Oh,
It just took me a while to get here. I'm officially caught up.
you were talking about this guy.
And if anybody knows, I'm not a happy camper, and I feel like we should just dismantle the show. Talk about it now.
Well, nice of you to finally join us.
Yeah. He's been like AWOL all day, and then cryptic Instagram story, and we're like,
yeah, I haven't got blocked in a long time, but I tried to send a text message and it nothing. Like, it was weird.
yeah.
It's weird. What was that about?
I mean, guys, it's not. So we talked about it. We talked about a little bit about it last week, or a lot about it. The run. What is it? The Run Elf Run. The Run Elf Run 5K.
Mhm.
And as we all know, like Tommy Runs hasn't been. I'm not training for any 5Ks or anything like that. You guys are like doing full out like Josh Kerr workouts and all this other stuff. Because Josh Kerr does 5Ks. And I just didn't feel like it was fair. It wasn't fair ground. It wasn't fair to play this game. And you guys did me wrong.
Look, we are with the David Goggins stay hard mentality. Are you wrong? Are you wrong? You want to take a break, get some rest? That's on you.
You do got to stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. To be honest, but I think the idea that I've been out here doing crazy 5K preparation workouts is it's fake news. It's fake news, as they would say.
Well, I mean,
No, I haven't.
every time that I've heard somebody say fake news, it was real news. It was real news. No, but to be honest, like, so the Run Elf Run 5K was yesterday, this weekend. And Aaron, like, tell everybody what the Run Elf Run 5K is, why we ended up there, and what it means to, like, the area.
Yeah, the Run Elf Run 5K is a local 5K here in the Metro Detroit area, more specifically in Pontiac, Michigan, which is my hometown. I was born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan, and it is the second year that they've held this 5K. It's literally the only road race in Pontiac, Michigan, all year round. It's literally the only one we have. So we decided to jump in. It is before the holiday parade, so it's like Christmas theme. Santa's there, Mrs. Claus is there, a bunch of their helper elves are there, and we got a chance to run the entire parade course because the course goes from the Phoenix Center down to Mount Con Boulevard, straight down Oakland Avenue, or Cesar Chavez, as it's also called. So it's important to me to do it because like I said, I am from Pontiac, and that is our only representation that we have of road running in the city. So last year, me and my brother did it. It was the first year, their very first year. This year was their second year. We got a few more people out that we know. You two guys came. That was super nice to have you there. And yeah, we just had fun, and we might have took it a little too serious because it is mostly like a run walk kind of situation. But sometimes when you see a starting line and you see medals, you got to lace up and you got to bring the competitive energy.
It was kind of funny, like maybe the first half mile, I just thought to myself, the three of us are the only ones here. We're gonna take this thing, and like we did the turnaround. We're like, man, everybody's and there's some decent runs in there, but it's like, man, we are killing this. Yeah, this is almost too silly, you know.
And just to kind of to paint the seriousness or unseriousness of this race, the start, like the call out at the start, is literally done by Santa. So Santa is giving you the on your mark, set, go type of thing.
And I can't believe Santa was able to make it around like the planet in like one night and deliver all the gifts, because his countdown was so slow. What is it? On your runners, on your mark, get set, and then like this weird, awkward, like whatever pause, and then finally like run, elf, run.
Yeah, I think that's because Santa's like in the real world environment, and his sense of like time and space is probably all jacked up, and he's probably training for New Year's or Christmas Eve.
Oh, you think he's in a taper right now?
Yeah, I think he's just.
Is Santa in a taper? That's the question we really need to all be asking. Like, what kind of training does Santa do prior to this point where he'd like have to taper a couple weeks?
I think you got to do like serious like astronaut training, but like on the next level, because we're talking G forces here.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that he made it to that race and he was still there for the medals at the end,
Yeah.
That was really him, though. That was really him.
Going back real quick, because touching on one of our favorite topics, he's doing G forces, eating a bunch of cookies and milk. Yeah, he's got to stomach all that, and then hit like the highest G force you can hit, whatever it is. I'm not sure what the levels are. Not throw up all over the presents, each and every house.
Well, there's a reason why he's not taking like steak and stuff.
Yeah,
he needs those cookies.
It's the sugar.
Them carbs got to keep you fueled.
Like with the milk, though, the milk
is a little questionable.
Yeah,
I feel like honestly, like if you think about that, if you just think about that just a little further, do you think that he's actually like chugging milk, or is he like he's got like a little container that he puts the milk in and takes it outside to the reindeer? No one talks about the reindeer and how the reindeer fuel.
Well, we actually give the reindeer carrots.
Guarantee. You go down a couple more houses, you're gonna find them carrots in the backyard somewhere. They don't want that.
I don't even know how to follow that up. Sure.
I mean, for real, think about it. Like if you going around the world in one night, and you're the power and you're the force behind all this, you don't want no carrots, man. That's like for Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
these are trying to make sure that everybody's dietary needs are taken care of. So
I mean, I hear you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
As a vegan, I appreciate that. But what I'm saying is Rudolph has had enough. He's got enough flack. He doesn't necessarily need a carrot,
That's a good point, because if you're the lead reindeer, the last thing you need is vegetables, like especially like something like a root vegetable or broccoli.
Joe said, I thought Santa drank whiskey to keep him warm. I hate to break it to you, Joe. That's not Santa.
Yeah, plus Santa can't be drinking and driving like that.
I know. Imagine handling a sled going how many ever thousands of miles per hour, and you a few shots of whiskey deep. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker, but is that Fireball whiskey? That keep you warm, right?
It's a type of schnapps or whiskey. I don't know either. I don't know. Either way, it's not good.
And I mean, the reindeer have made this route multiple times before, so
they can do it.
Kind of autopilot, right? They kind of.
Oh no, yeah, right. You think he's steering?
No, I think he really his main thing is just get down the chimney and get out.
Yeah, it's all GPS, because you got to remember there's always new babies being born, new kids. So the routes change every year, but it's just plug it in GPS. It's science.
I mean, he probably got
Santa
AI.
doesn't bring y'all gifts.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's still new babies, new houses, new households.
True.
Lots to think about.
Mark asked, "Were you guys the pro field at the 5K?" I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that. My favorite part was we got to the starting line, and I'm pretty sure this kid was in high school, and he looked at us and he looked at our shoes. And he said, "Oh, y'all got the good shoes on. Y'all serious about this?"
I think he said.
"Yeah."
I think he said I didn't realize there was going to be some real competition here.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't realize we take things far too seriously. And then somebody came up to me and was like, "You the one that won last year, right?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, no pressure, sure." Jesus Christ. So
Santa Claus, you mean?
no, this was a lady. This was a different lady.
No, you said Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
But listen, what I'm telling you,
Same holiday, but wrong figure.
Saint Nicholas, my bad.
Right, same. No, man. So like when I knew, you ever like what? I'm not. No, this is no disrespect to the race, because like you said, it's a walk run. It's more like a walk run race. It's a very fun vibe, and I can't wait to. I want to pull up next year, and I hope that like it just continues to grow, because it's a cool little like it's a cool out and back. It's cool because you run it in between the floats that are going to be in the parade later. So it is really kind of cool. Like it would be like if Turkey Trot decided to run it down Woodward farther and have to go past the floats. I mean, I think that's just that was kind of a nice touch, to be honest.
It really was. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, and
and
it was a good course though, because it wasn't like super flat. There was some rollers there, so it wasn't.
You mean by some rollers? You mean the whole first half of the race was uphill and the second half was downhill?
No, the first half was uphill and the second half was uphill.
Yeah, for real. So we were like, okay, so in a minute we'll get to the race. But when I walked up to the start and like looked around, that's when you like start to see, okay, what's happening right now. When everybody's set back 20, 30 feet from the start line, just chilling, that means this is not a competitive situation. We were the only people that were just like even close to the start line when we walked up, and I'm like, we're gonna look like such maniacs. But it was cool because like halfway back it's an out and back, so you start seeing the people that are like jogging or walking, and they're cheering for you. So like I think that was cool. They probably were like, wow, I think it was fun all in all. But
yeah, right, before you guys got to the start line, I was hanging out near closer to the arch and whatnot, and I forgot who it was. Somebody hanging out with Jared was like, "Oh, you're locked in, huh? You look at you. You're
look at you.
Yeah, aren't you guys? You guys ready to go? Let's go."
All right, so let's talk about this stupid race for a little bit so we can move on.
Why is it stupid, Tommy? Why?
Hey, look, guys, listen. All right. So the gun goes off, right? Or Santa goes off, should I say? So Santa says, "Run out."
Wait. I don't want to cut you off, but before we get to the actual start of the race, so we were at the start line, and we're talking, we're chatting, and Ron was like, "Oh, y'all about to go crazy or whatever," and I'm just like, we're gonna do what we do, and then I immediately turned to Tommy, and I'm like. I said, yeah, but I said, yeah, Tommy gonna throw up. I said he gonna throw up at some point. And
on cue, I turned it like, yep, most likely.
So it was just a little subtle foreshadowing, that I felt like, let me plant these seeds of discontent in his spirit, and then we can see where we go.
So we start the race, and we get out quick. These two get out real quick, and I realized about like a quarter mile up this hill, I'm like, I'm backing off. Like I'm not doing this. And at that point, like a half mile point, a mile point, I wholeheartedly was like, they're doing it, and that's gonna be that. And I was thinking about, I wonder where Jared is. So I'm like, I was even thinking about like just being like, all right, let me find Jared. You know what I'm saying? But so we going up this hill, like weaving through not weaving through, but like every like little quarter mile or so, it seemed like there was another like float, so we had to kind of go around them a little bit. So that was really cool. And then we got to this, as we started kind of going downhill again past that track that Jared do that event thing at, We going down this little that wasn't that like a little subtle downhill, like maybe right around like a mile and a half ish,
Yep.
or a little
Before the
before
turnaround.
Yeah.
before the
Leading right into the
turnaround.
turnaround.
Yeah.
It's like it's a nice little downhill, and I run downhill fairly like I like running downhill obviously, but I think I run it fairly efficiently, and I caught up to you guys, but I wasn't trying to yet, and then I was like right with you when we did this turnaround. But like the one thing about out and backs is the turnarounds are terrible. Like turning around a cone to come right back up, like up a hill, just like it just took it like out of me. I still was going quickly, but I was just like, yo, this is it. This is it. So
I will say though, real quick, their turnaround was better than most because they made you go out a little bit,
Yeah.
not like do like a quick like 180.
Yeah.
You know what? When I realized that was a good turnaround, when I saw the lead truck make the full turn without having to like
back up. Yeah.
That was in my head. That was in my head the whole way. Like, how's he gonna do this?
Yeah.
I didn't see the turnaround yet.
He swung it out, and I'm just like, oh, we good. We good. We can make this an efficient turn.
All right. No, and then you take over from the turnaround there.
All right. So I'm literally leading Gary for the entire first half. I'm ahead. But I knew
I don't even like this. Hold on. I don't even like this face with Gary making. Hold up. He making this little he's smirking.
So I knew Gary was going for it. Like I knew this. Gary ran a turkey trot a couple weeks ago, and he did decently, but I feel like he left a little bit on the table. He wanted to try to get that. So I'm like, let me stay out. Let me just race Gary. Like I didn't look at my watch one time. I was just like, I'm racing Gary today, and whatever happens, happens. So he would surge every so often, and it just happened to always be going up a hill. I think that was kind of like the strategy I was thinking. I'm like, okay, Gary's being tactical, but I'm gonna cover every surge. I'm gonna cover every move that I can until I can't anymore. So would you say like it was like three climbs and 3 descents, like both ways.
Yeah.
So he would surge, and I would see him, and I would two-step him a little bit, try to stay in front, and he would kind of back off. So I'm like, okay, he's messing with me right now. I know it, but I'm going to just I'm gonna keep just running. I'm just keep racing, and I could hear Tommy's footsteps was way louder than Gary's. I think the Craft super shoes that you were wearing are relatively loud. Or maybe it was just something because I could hear Tommy's footsteps, but I couldn't hear Gary's footsteps. Which is kind of weird. But
because when Tommy was behind me, I could definitely hear him. Like there was no doubt. I could hear how far he was behind me or how close he was at times, for sure.
Yeah. So we get to this turnaround, and like Tommy said, there was a downhill that went down to the turnaround, but it was a nice rounded turn. So you can kind of swing it out a little bit and not have to like pivot and stop your momentum and try to start again. So as we come around this turnaround and start going back up the hill, I'm just like, well, here we are. Because my legs got, well, I wouldn't even say my legs got, but it just, I feel like gravity started to, take its course and pull me back down to earth a little bit. And slowly but surely, well, it wasn't slowly but surely, actually, it was pretty quickly. I found myself in third place. Tommy had passed me and Gary had passed me. So I'm just watching them and I'm like, get back to him on a downhill was like in my mind. And they would get a little closer, but then they would get further out. So I'm just like, well, where's Jared at? Because let me make sure I'm all right. And I was kind of out there on the island, like there, because that's another like Tommy said, that's a cool thing. With an out and back, you can kind of see where the people are in relation to where you are. So when I saw Jared, probably 100 yards from the turnaround, as we were already over it, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty firmly in third place right now. So then the race became Tommy and Gary. So you guys can pick it up from there.
So you were right though in the first half. I'd kind of step up a little bit, and you'd make a move, and I thought, you know what, fine, let him take the hill. I'll just do some drafting and and I let Aaron do the yeoman's work on the hills. So yeah, definitely messing with you for sure, no doubt about that. And then when we made the turn, and I finally, I made a pass. Yeah, that was like, okay, I'm gonna make a strong pass and just see if I can just, you know, stay in front the rest of the way. And then Tommy passed me almost right away. I think after I passed you, I think Tommy went ahead, and that's where my head was like, oh do I want to like? You're trying to do two goals at once. One is the time goal for me, and the one was like, or win this race, and or both. Like the goal is to do both, but and then you asked me after the race if I'd gotten in my head a little bit about like, am I going to lose this race? And at the time I was like, no, it's fine. But looking back, Tommy being ahead of me for a little bit, I was like, like I don't want to have to like,
I
I don't
I
want
was
to fight two things at once. I wanted the time goal and I wanted the win, but then I had to try to figure out which one's more important.
Hey, I was banking on, like, I wasn't really like super competitive in my mind because like I honestly halfway on the way down, like, so like almost a mile in, I thought in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm straight, like we're good. Like if I walk, I don't care. Like I was like so out of it in my head, but I was just like, okay, just stay close as possible to him. And then on that turnaround, when I caught up to you guys, I wasn't prepared to be there. Like
right
when it happened, I was like, oh no, like, and then all I know how to do at that point is just push.
It's like when the dog catches the car, you're like,
yeah, what do I do? And then and one of the things that like when that was happening, when I like caught up to y'all and then passed, I was like banking for a little bit. It happened. It was only for a short period of time when I realized like I didn't have it, but I was banking on like hopefully the fact that I had like my situation would be like messing with y'all. Like, dang, he ain't even been running like that, Like I was hoping that y'all would get in your heads like, oh no, like it's happening, but y'all didn't let that happen.
Well, like part of me was like, yep, this is just what Tommy does. He comes to these races and shows out. But at one point, you said to me, I think it was before the 2 mile,
yeah,
get up here.
I was like come on, yeah. And that's when I knew. Right. That's when I knew it was kind of over for me. Like I'm like, I don't know how long I can hold this pace, but I knew. But then I started thinking, oh, Gary wants to do sub 18. I couldn't do any math when I looked at my watch. We were too far away. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but that's why I was like, come on, like, because you started to lag to fall back, and I'm like, I'll be up here in no man's land and pass out somewhere if I'm by myself.
It's funny you mentioned that because I have the Coral Pace 2, and it's got the pacer thing now, so you can like plug in your time you want. So at one point it said you are plus 22 seconds off of your time, like in the 2 miles. So that was kind of fun, but it's also like more pressure at that point. But then once I went past you, like Aaron said, I could hear you for a good while. I could hear the footsteps for a good while, and then I just didn't hear anything, which was a good feeling. And then I just went for it to try to close out the last mile pretty hard. And when I crossed the finish line, I didn't expect to see Aaron. So at one point there was a pass made after,
all right, go ahead, Aaron.
in that last mile.
Yeah. So we were approaching Woodward, which is wide track, affectionately called the Loop. And it's like the last big street that you cross over before you get back into the downtown area and head toward the finish. I would say maybe a little after 2.5, maybe right around 2 3/4 of a mile into the 5K. And at this point, I'm feeling better because I had already kind of conquered those hills. But I see Tommy up ahead, and he kind of like shake his arms out, and I'm just like, I'm like, he's too far away for me to be able to catch him unless like something happens. And then maybe like 10 steps later, something happened and he stopped. And I'm like, is he like being nice? Like, is he waiting for me? But then like he walked over to like off the course a bit because it's like cones on the street, and one side of the street is the course and the other side is like live street. And so he walks over to the side, and I could see him like lean over. And I'm like, is he about to to lose his breakfast, and I'm just like, just keep pushing, like just keep going, because I could, as we made that turn, I could see Gary like in the distance, and I'm like, just go, like don't write off the race. This is like the first time I've ever like raced y'all for real. You know what I'm saying? Like this is really like the first time I've really like raced anybody. Like I really thought about like what other people were doing in a race that I was running. Because usually it's like, okay, I'm trying to get this time. Let me just run for this time. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't looking at my watch. I had no expectations on what I could do in this 5K. So I'm like, in my mind the whole week, I'm just thinking like, I'm going to race Tommy and Gary. Like whatever they do, I'm going to try to match it and let the chips fall as they may. So at that point, I was already pretty resigned to, okay, third place isn't bad. This is what I expected anyway. So cool. But then I see Tommy stop and I'm like, I have to take advantage of this right now. Because if he start running again, he gonna catch me. So I'm just like push. And when you get, because I ran it last year, so I knew how the course was. That once you get to a little before the 3 mile mark, it's just downhill and you could just bomb it. So I'm like, get to this downhill, and as long as I have a bit of distance, or even I felt like even if it was equal at that point, then it's just like a foot race to whoever can turn their legs over faster to get to the finish. So I would glance in my rear view and I'm like, okay, I don't see him, but it's Tommy. So I'm like, don't give him any chance, you know? So I'm just like, push to the end. And then I could see the clock as I got to the top of the hill. And
down.
Got
Damn.
right there.
Bro turned into Pontiac.
I could see the clock and I saw Gary and I'm like, he might break 18. Like I could see that it still said 17, but I couldn't really gauge like how far he was from the finish line. So, but I saw him slow down at like, and I could see the clock said 18-0 something. So I'm like, all right, well, he won, but he's not going to be okay with it, but whatever. And I'm just like, all right, push it. Cause last year you ran 18:35 or something and you got a chance to beat what you did last year. So just push it down this hill, give it an honest effort down the hill. So I just pushed it down the hill as hard as possible. I could hear the people cheering. I saw Santa. I saw the mayor. I saw Mrs. Claus. And I just like, all right, burn it out. And so that's what I did. I burned it out. And then I looked and I didn't see Tommy. And I'm just like, I hope he didn't die.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I don't know what you saw the first time. I think maybe I knew I was about to get ill, and I just kind of like tried to like shake that off. And then at that point, Gary was kind of like creeping because I had to make a decision to slow up. Like, because I'm like, okay, I'm feeling sick. I'll slow up a little tiny bit and see like if it goes away, and then I'll try to surge again. But it didn't work. So like 10 seconds later, I was like, I pulled over to the side and did like that fake, like, you know, not fake, but like a, you know, nothing happens thing. You're like, you know,
dry heave.
Yeah, dry heave. And then I'm like, all right, I think I started running again. Did I?
Did. Yeah, you did.
So I started running again for a second though, like a little tiny bit. And then I had looked back to see where Aaron was. And at that point I knew like I wasn't even gonna like, I don't think I was gonna try to do anything else. And then I like really dry heaved like hard. And then he went past or whatever. And then I finally like just got back to jogging. I look back, okay, like where's Jared? And then so I started just jogging. But then like maybe when I got to like mile 3-ish, a little less than mile 3, I could see like I saw Aaron and then I saw Gary down. And I'm looking at my watch. Like by then I could like I was going slow enough where I could like look at my watch. And I'm like, okay, he cool. Like it was like 17:40 something. And I'm like, oh, he good. But then like I'd look up 10 seconds later and you were still running. Like the perception was crazy, like down the line. Like I'm like, bro, still running? Like you've been in this finish and shoot for like 20 minutes. And so like when I got there, I thought you did it because I was far enough where I couldn't see either way. But I thought you were gonna get like 17:58 or something like that. But and honestly, I told Aaron yesterday or today, I'm like, if you told me if like right when you were passing, I said something to you, but you didn't hear me, because you were surging up this hill, and I knew we had one more hill, and I was like, take it easy on the uphills and just bomb down, and you didn't say anything, so you just didn't hear me. Maybe you couldn't hear me over the craft shoes. But if you had said like stay with me or like run with me, like like whatever, I probably would have just been like, because I had no reason to do it other than I'm like, if I wish you would have said something, because like I really it turned into me like hoping that you guys broke 18.
It's funny. Afterwards, I posted my time, and Kafuzi messaged me and said, "If you only had run 4 seconds faster."
Yeah, he loves doing that. Like, it's the meanest thing to say.
So I sent a laughing emoji. I said, "Well, my pacer dropped out too soon." I said, "It was like Tommy, my pacer dropped out too soon." Too soon.
Tommy was only able to collect 75% of his pacer salary for the day.
Yeah. I got all $12. It was I spent it wisely. But no, it was a really cool race. It was fun. Like you said, we've never raced each other.
I was telling Tommy this during the shakeout. I think the last time all three of us were even in the same race was NYC, and we weren't even in the same waves.
Yeah, you were. Aaron, you were chilling that day.
Yeah, and then we did decades. But did you do the decades race? The one?
Yeah, Aaron raced it. Aaron raced it that year, and then me and Gary, we had did 10 miles before, so we were just kind of running it.
Yeah, it's funny that all the times we do these races and whatnot, the fact that we actually never are in the same race is rarely. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I mean, both of you guys PRs in the 5K it's a pretty big distance. Well, Tommy is like a minute and a half. And then Gary, I think your PR in the 5K is like 20 seconds faster than mine. So even usually,
no, I'm 17:35. So you're like what?
I'm 17:46. So
the funny part was like I got this text from Run Sign Up, and it was like Tommy runs finish time 18:53, and the last time I got a text from them was June 2023, and it was like Tommy runs finish time 16:52. And I'm like, you didn't have to, like, you could have, like, I should have deleted the whole text message because, like, it just reminded me so quickly, like, wow, you're terrible today. and that was at Dexter. That was an Ann Arbor 5K, and that was much harder course.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly like, in running the Run Elf Run, I hope that like I'm happy that you and Jared we're doing this again. But then I'm also like, I'm happy that y'all extended the invite to people. Like, like it is important to you guys that like, that people come out that and it turned out to be a really cool, like, even though it was a smaller race, it didn't feel like it was half put together.
Right.
And it was a fun vibe. Like, and it's actually a decent course. And you're running through downtown Pontiac, and it just feels like Thanksgiving because of like the parade kind of vibe. And it was actually perfect. I mean, I could see where it could be a little dicey weather-wise, and depending. But the last 2 years, it was same weather as last year, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And
yeah, I will say the weather was. I mean, it was cold. There's no doubt about it. But I was expecting a bit more of a headwind, and maybe I just don't remember. But I don't think I felt it.
Yeah, no. Natalie says how cold was the 5K? I ran a 5K yesterday, and it was 22 degrees with a real feel of 17 with the wind. It was pretty close to that. It was pretty close to that. The wind wasn't like biting though. Like there's been times where like the night before the wind was much stronger. Like we caught a break. I might have to check in for this 5K sometime next year. It's possible.
Malik, if you're gonna check in for this 5K sometime next year, can you give me like a 2 months heads up? I'd like to train for a 5K. So
yeah. I mean, I was joking to myself, like, I set the course record this year, but Malik come in, I go, shoot. There goes that.
Second year it ever happened?
This is the second year of the event.
Oh, I didn't. I guess I don't know why I didn't realize. I thought y'all just did it for the first time last year.
No, it's literally the second year ever that they did it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I was the course record holder for 365 days. Or 66. Maybe a little more, because it was December 2nd last year. So
isn't it leap year too? So it'd be a little bit more.
I held the course record. First person to hold the course record, but I would respectfully cede that over to to Gary for now. That was
Gary?
cool. It was really cool.
Gary, Steve says this is the first time he broke the tape.
It is not. I think it's in terms of like coming back to running, is the third time I've broken the tape.
Oh, what about the other times too, Gary?
Like in high school and whatnot?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know a handful of times for sure.
That's too much to count. Y'all think I win too many races? So this is
I can remember all the races I've won.
What are the other 2 races you won? New York City.
New York City, and then some race in Canada, you guys I've never heard of.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I did the Trenton 5K years ago.
Oh, is that the year I won the 8K?
No, because I ran the 8K.
Oh, okay.
No, it was the 2019, so the year before COVID.
Okay.
And then
yeah, that's before you got cool and was hanging with us.
And then 2021, there was like that local race down by the church. What's that called? The
Kirk in the Hills.
Kirk in the Hills. They have a 5K near there. So small. Yeah. I could literally that's a race I literally jumped in the day before just because I thought, oh, I'll do that. That's fun.
I almost pulled out my Go-Go Gadget goggles yesterday when I was like trying to see, like, speaking of break the tape, I was trying to see, like, is there a tape? Is he breaking it? Is he actually breaking the tape? That would the crazy thing, that's one of the crazy things about running. The random stuff you think about so vividly, like it's just so clear. And it's like, and you think about like, why was I even like so that far into the thought? Because I'm like, I wonder if they're breaking a tape. And then I'm like, it doesn't look like it. And I'm like, dang, that'd have been really crazy if this race had a tape. That's probably would have been because Aaron and Jared probably said something to the people, and they were like, "Oh, we respect you as runners." Like I went through this whole thing. Like
when I was coming down the hill, I saw the mayor, I didn't know who was mayor at the time. I saw the mayor and somebody else like start to walk across, and I saw like something in the mayor's hand, which I thought was the tape, but he's holding medals in his hand. They hand out medals out to the top 3. But I thought, oh, cool, there's going to be a tape. But no, it's just my perception of like trying to figure out what's going on as I'm getting closer and closer to the finish line.
Man, the joy though, now that I'm thinking about and hearing this story over, the joy I would have felt creeping back up on your shoulder and passing you right at the end would have been, that have made me feel really good about myself.
But you didn't.
It didn't happen.
So for anyone on the fence about maybe joining and jumping in this race, pretty unique, unique medal that also has.
I didn't even notice that until right now.
Yeah, you can hang it on a Christmas tree to show everybody that you're really a runner. So it doubles as
no one believes you unless you have this one. Dang, I'm about to it is a chain by itself. Never mind.
So as you trim the tree, you can go ahead and add your cute little medal. I gave my medal last year to my aunt because she's a big Christmas lady. So
Aaron, is there a company that does this, that puts this race together? Is it a certain company?
It's Root Pack Racing, I believe.
You said that, yeah. Right Pack.
They're the racing company that does it. But as far as like the actual the actual weekend, it's I believe Oakland County does it. So it's sponsored and financed by the county as a part of like just their community outreach initiative type of thing. But and this parade in Pontiac has been going on for like 45 years. It's a long-standing tradition in our city, but the actual 5K component of it just started last year. So that's why I'm so big on like just trying to show up and trying to make it make sense for them to continue to do it, because it is something new. It is something different. And like I said, we don't have a lot of representation when it comes to running in Pontiac. So the longer we can keep it going, I'm hoping more people get involved. And I really like seeing the young people that ran as well, some high school kids, because it's like, let's do something different. Let's do something healthy. Let's do something positive and give the city something to have some pride about. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun.
For sure. So I think I'm going to do another 5K this weekend.
Where?
Sterling Heights, some sort of Santa hat thing.
Are you gonna wear a Santa hat?
No, but it's in Stony Creek though. That's the issue.
Oh, you like hills? You're good.
Yeah.
So was this your thing? You're just gonna go through random 5Ks and just try to beat up on people?
No, I'm trying to break 18, and I haven't done it yet. And we're getting closer to the end of the year, and I'm, marathon training starts in January, so
You're gonna be
I don't have a lot of time.
You're gonna be the 5K version of that one guy from Sweat Elite. What's his name? Matt Fox.
Matt
Remember
Fox?
he's trying to break 220 for like 3 years. But then he broke it this year. He ran like 219, and then like 3 or 4 weeks later he ran like 218.
Well, the thing about it is Gary has already done this before. It's not like breaking.
No, I don't care. I don't care. He's washed up.
I still need to do it. I still,
He's washed
I
up.
joked with a cousin of mine. I said, not bad for a guy with 1 year away from his AARP card, but I'd still like to be able to.
Man, so what do you wait? Is that what do you? I thought it was like 52.
I don't know. The point is, I turn 50 next year. So
I was trying to give you a benefit of the doubt. And then Mark said Matt ran a 2:19:45 again today at CIM. Oh, shout out to the folks that CIM. We have some PRs that we must discuss. I'm gonna start off with big dog Jared Butler. Jared Butler dropped a 2:52:03 in CIM. That's like a 6 minute. 5-6 minute PR, right?
5 minute PR for sure.
5 minute PR. We got Marquise Bowden, Keese, 2:33:31. We got Mac Foss from over in Grand Rapids. She dropped a 3:13:58.
Oh wow, is that PR for her?
Yeah, I think so. And who else?
Kim Ermaza.
She ran with a 3:17.
I think that's a big PR for her too.
And I don't know who else, but there's so many people that CIM is kind of notorious for PRs, because the makeup of it. And I actually called Jared earlier today, and he said that the first 15 miles or so are really rolling.
Yeah.
So it kind of throws you off a little bit, but he said at the end, towards the end, I think it's just kind of like it's a little less rolling and a little more downhill. But he said he felt fine though. Like he didn't have he said it was hamstrings, not quads. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, and also
we'll see what
on Saturday was St. Jude, Memphis, and our friend Natisha from 6 Run 5. She ran her very first marathon, which is automatic PR. But I had to follow her journey for a little while, and she was dealing with some injuries, and she wasn't sure if she would be able to even get to the start line. But she did, and she ran a marathon. So big shout out to her too. That's really cool. I know 6 Run 5 had a few other athletes out there as well. So yeah, it was quite the weekend for racing.
For some reason, I didn't see as many people. I didn't see all the people out there. I don't know, maybe my IG was just quiet or weird shaped or weird algorithm this weekend or whatever. But it was kind of last minute. I saw just random people popping up and did it, or we're countdown 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I didn't know who all these people was out here. Would y'all want to do CIM?
For sure.
At some point,
I think I've done all the American. I like to do New York again, but other than that, I don't think I need to do the other American majors anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to do the CIMs, the Houstons, the Grandmas, the Indies. These tier B type races for sure.
Yeah, I think
types.
Tier B.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I think I wanna run CIM for sure. I've just heard it's a fun race. It's kind of like Boston Marathon-esque, where you take a shuttle up to the start, and then like a point to point vibe. I think that would be fun.
It's a net downhill, but you're still
Net
like
downhill.
hitting some.
I think I
it's
saw
like-
600 feet of elevation gain.
Yeah, no, it's still
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
net
it's
downhill
super-
because you get it back, but
yeah.
still,
Like,
you know.
everybody talks about the hills in Boston, but it's a net downhill. Like
even Boston's in that. So they say it's like Boston without the 4 big hills at the end.
Yeah. Which is,
I mean, what's Boston?
sounds really nice, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Boston's 900 feet or so.
Something like that.
So like, you just don't have 3 or 4 big hills at the end. Which does sound amazing. It sounds great, actually. What are we doing here? I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. What's on your bucket list? Like one marathon that's on your bucket list.
I mean, I like
One race. It doesn't have to be a marathon, actually.
Good question. I did do London.
London's great.
I like to do LA.
Who?
LA. Even though it's not a fun race, it's not a racer's race, but I really like LA, and I feel like the running scene there is very, it's thriving, and I kind of just want to feel the energy. I would love to experience, the different areas of LA on foot. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Right, you?
Mine, I think, would be like Comrades. I think.
Which one's that one?
The one in South Africa. This
Oh.
one year it's uphill, the next year it's downhill. It's like a 50K.
The downhill, you would want to do the downhill one, right?
They say that the uphill one is better. I mean, it's not like drastic. It's not like crazy, but they say like the uphill one's more manageable. Because I think like going, I don't even think it's 50K. I think it's like over 50K. It's like some weird number, like 60K or something like that. It's 50-ish K or 50-ish miles, Mark. But for some reason I've heard different people say that like the uphill's better because you're just not as trash. Like, because I think if it's so downhill that after a while it's like I don't know. I can't remember.
That's a very runner's thing to say.
It is.
The uphill version of the race.
Yeah.
Speaking of uphill and downhill, there's a race in
it's miles.
There's a race in Saline yesterday in the evening. It's a mile. It's a mile race in Saline. The race, it's an out and back, but the race starts downhill. Get to the bottom.
Is this that one where that lady was like coming to the finish line and she just was like wobbling?
Oh, I don't know. I just found out about it yesterday.
So I saw this thing on Instagram where it was like 2 ladies were kind of coming to the finish, and it was like a steep incline, like to this finish line. I mean, like just steep, And the lady got to the end, and she was like fighting for first place with this other lady, and she got to the end, and she like literally, as she was crossing the finish line, her body was just crumbling, like she crumbled over the finish line.
I hate to see that. I mean, you give everything, but like just usually it's so scary to watch these.
Yeah, because it's like, are you gonna hurt yourself?
Like their bones give up. It's like their bones give up too.
Like, everything's done. They turn into a puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's craziness.
Is it the Saline Mary Mile? No. This says this race is great for adults and children. I wouldn't imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Aaron, look, Aaron. Let's talk about this thing.
Yeah, the Mary Mile. That's it. Yeah.
Not advertising that it is a brutal race on there. So.
Let's talk about this. You shared a video with us earlier, and then it was it like a 12-year-old training for like a marathon?
I didn't watch it. I
didn't either.
Once I got the description, I was like, no, I can't.
What are your thoughts on 12-year-olds training for marathons?
So, as a human being who does not have children, I feel like I'm the last person to critique anybody's parenting skills or anybody's parental decisions. Let me preface it by saying that. The reason I shared it in our group chat, because for some reason Instagram thinks I'm interested in this, because this is not the first video I saw. Like, this was like the third video I saw.
It must be your training. It must be the training thing.
I must just have a very, boyish like face or something. I don't know. But yeah, to add some context, there's an Instagram page that is ran by this young girl. She's 12 years old, and it's ran by her parents. And they are training her to be prepared for the 2028 Olympic trials for the marathon. So if my math serves me correctly, this kid will be 16 years old in 2028. And her parents are preparing her to compete with seasoned marathoners to try to get a spot on the U.S. Women's Olympic team for the marathon. Mm-hmm. So they show some of her training. And I think the video I saw was like, we're doing 800 repeats at mile pace, which is like 450 something. And I'm just like, and it's just so much drama in the comments. Like this kid should be training for 800, 1500 at the most. Like there's no way that this kid should be doing this. There's no way this kid should be running more than 25 to 30 miles a week. Because I mean, I think the caption said she's running 50, 60 mile weeks or something like that. And I just thought it was preposterous. I just thought it was, I thought it was ridiculous.
Based on only the information that you have given me and not doing any other research, it sounds like these parents are trying to live their own Olympic dreams through their child. And I don't think that goes well ever. Long term, it doesn't go well. You're right, though. You're talking about trying to train up with seasoned pros who do this for a living. And I just think you're doing so much damage to a young girl who's probably still growing. If they're this determined to get her in this kind of shape now, I can't imagine what they're telling her about diet, her mental health. I just think it's just nothing good's going to come of this in the long run, or even in the short term, but especially the long run.
And I think she's ran a 2:58 marathon already.
I mean, because I'm not, and like you prefaced, though, you don't have kids. I'm not a lady. I've never gone through like the things that like a 12-year-old girl to 16 to 17 and all that stuff like would have to go through. But I feel like training at that level at that age would also have an effect on like that type of stuff, you know. And I just think it's silly. I mean, I think it's unnecessary. Even if she wants to do it, as a parent, I would just be like, I really appreciate your drive. Like I really do. You're gonna have to be mad at me on this one. We're not training you for a marathon at 12.
We will train you for a 5K and the mile and build it up.
And and you can even, let's just train you like as people are going to judge us, but let's just train super hard for a 10K. Like you can do all this crazy stuff, but we're not, the end result is not going to be a marathon for you, even if we think you could.
And the thing is, the marathon is such an adult dominated like community. Like let this kid be a kid. Let this kid run cross country with her peers, her school group, AAU. Like let her be a kid. She gets an opportunity to be a kid one time. Let her be a kid. Let her enjoy like being a member of a team. All the social aspects that come with high school, or in her case, middle school sports. Let her develop that. The marathon isn't going anywhere. And if she's on a track to be a long distance runner and she really loves running like that, let the marathon come to her. Like you don't have to go get it right now.
In a 4-year training block, like I can't even do like I can barely do a 14. Like I'd rather do a 12-month training block, 12-week training block versus a 4 years.
I mean, because the only way this goes is she at 16 years old demolishes everybody at the trials and becomes a superstar, and is the greatest thing that we've ever seen. And she's the first woman to break, I don't know, 210 or something. Or she absolutely hates it after a while and hates her parents for letting her do it.
Yep.
Or she gets sick somehow. Like it just doesn't seem like the downsides are too far down.
Yep.
One thing about Park, we kind of talked about Parker Valley in the past before, but one thing that like in just kind of like I haven't done a deep dive on Parker Valby's like training and family and stuff like that. But even from like some of the things that they were talking about while it was happening and a little bit before, like she's a very well rounded. She was a very well rounded athlete, and didn't do like super crazy high mileages. Just maximize like time in the gym. Um, and it seemed like somebody in there like had the foresight to be like, we want you to like running for as long as possible, you know. And as a parent, like if my kids both were like, you know what, I want to run, we want to run marathons one day, I'm gonna have to figure out how to, and that's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to say, I hear you, but like have like you're the adult and you've been through more life. How about you figure out like how to like say yes to that, but then also here's this more like mature way of like thinking about it and going after it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like sending a kid to law school at like 14 just because they want to be a lawyer. It's like it's not there's other ways to do this.
Yep, I completely agree. Completely agree.
I got my leg crossed over here like a big kid. I'm all like serious now. Like let's talk about this parenting, you know. But yeah, no, it just seems kind of crazy. But
I mean, it's like that. It's like that family from who ran grandma's, and they made that kid run the 26 miles for Pringles. This is, I mean, that's worse.
That
I
was
think
fine.
I think the Pringles thing was worse, but still.
Yeah, it's weird. But at listening to the Rich Roll podcast with David Roche, it gave me an appreciation for people who are willing to try things that other people may deem silly or outside of the box and stuff like that. So I can appreciate like the idea of like, let's try something different, but I think there are limits to it. I think you kind of have to be within reason. I'm not this person's doctor. I'm not this person's pediatrician at this point. So, you know, maybe they got clearance. Maybe from everything that I've heard, it's too much. You know, from everything I know about running, having a kid run that much, it's too stressful on a body that isn't even close to being done developing. But I don't know.
I mean, but then like, yeah. I mean, this kid doesn't wake up feeling like we feel like when we were on 60 miles a week. That's for sure. But it still just doesn't seem like it's good for like the growth of, you know, mental, physical, emotional, none of it. Just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like the right thing to do. But hopefully, parents, if you're listening to this, the parents of this child, just chat with us. Give us a call.
I hear they're huge fans of the PR project, so
I don't know if they're gonna like it anymore. But yeah, I just think it's crazy. But so what's I don't even know where to go from this one. We had a really good time talking about the Run Elf Run.
So what's next for child sports? Let's see. Hold on, let me cross my leg here too.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think it's nuts. But like, cause like my son, like that's like my son's bowling right now, and that's like just being like, all right, we're gonna stay here and we're gonna bowl 10 games a day. Like,
right?
Come on, just relax.
Well, and to speak in a more macro sense, with the proliferation of NIL and the ability of amateur athletes to make money, I think we're gonna see this more. I think they're professionalizing student athletes younger and younger now. Like,
oh yeah, and
there's
baseball,
kids that are going to be paid to play on certain AAU teams. It's been happening, but now it's more out in the open. Nike, Adidas, they're signing NIL deals to kids that's still in high school to wear shoes in high school. So I think this is only the beginning. It's only going to get more and more intense, and maybe at some point we'll see a course correction and amateur sports become amateur again. But I don't know. I think it'll be tough to put the toothpaste back in the tube with that one. So
yeah.
Certain brands, right, are easier to put back into the toothpaste tube than other brands. Just let you know.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure if the Crest that doesn't have like the strips in it is just like one solid mat, I'm sure that's a little easier than like the Aquafresh that got like the red and the white and the blue.
Yeah,
because you can't like put that back in there.
Dog,
Unless you just mix it up and put it back in there. But then it
now,
defeats.
if someone hasn't had that before, when like the one of the colors runs out over the other ones, and it's like, because you don't know what you're missing, right? Because they don't say it doesn't. It doesn't say that the red or the blue or it doesn't say what's what. You know what I'm saying? So like, am I gonna have stank breath today, or is my teeth just not gonna be clean and it's gonna smell like, you know what I'm saying? What did I just run out of? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you got,
I do. I
if
just
you
trying
got,
to
if
think,
you,
just trying to figure
if
out
you
how
got
we got.
if you got Neapolitan ice cream, right? If you run out of pink, you're like, well, we know strawberry's gone. You know what I'm saying? I know that I'm missing strawberry, but what am I missing when it comes to this toothpaste?
Chat, if you want to Google what the red and blue, green and white mean in
If so-
Aquafresh and get back to us next week, we would appreciate it.
the
So tell me, you
person,
saying one color is like breath control, one color is whitening,
you said birth control?
breath control.
Oh.
And turn the volume down just to make sure your breath not creaking. And then the third one, I don't know what that could be because I mean,
Wait. What's what?
So I'm thinking the white is whitening, right? That keep you from being yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Whitening, and then Malik said
Blue
blue is minty
Blue
fresh.
is to keep the volume down on your breath.
What is red?
Fluoride.
Red is third eye open. That's why we don't know, because the fluoride is, calcifying our pineal gland, and we're not able to see what the brain is trying to do.
They've been telling us the whole time, fluoride, red for danger. No, just kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm glad we just solved that, because I was actually about to say, like, whoever's the first person in the chat next week to say all three of them correctly, but we already just solved it. But if that's different, I'll figure out how to get.
Tune in next week when we have the head of Johnson & Johnson and Aquafresh division join us for.
I was about to say whoever was the first person to like drop all three of them in a row, like red, white, blue, and then say what each one is. I was gonna say we'll try to get you a pair of shoes from some brand.
No,
we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear it's just marketing.
I think it's just marketing is just lazy, Maurice.
That's like
just
saying
lazy.
all the Fruit Loops are the same flavor. They just different colors. Like,
come on.
They would never do that to us.
No,
that is you know what I miss is Apple Jacks.
You still get
Apple Jacks tasted so much better when we was kids.
I don't dare try it now. I think if I had like a bowl of Apple Jacks, I probably would. I don't even know what would happen.
We 63 minutes and 30 seconds into this, and I realized I didn't bring up something that I learned about Tommy that disappointed me greatly.
Oh, hold up. The reason why.
Hold on. We were at the finish line. The finish line is packed with snacks. Packed. And
hold on.
We trying to get his stuff away. Could y'all take something? And I said, yeah, I'll take like. And Tommy looked at the table and said, I'm vegan. It ain't really nothing here for me. I said, bro, there is a platter full of apples. Do your worst. Go ahead. And he said, I don't really like apples like that. I felt like I had to. I felt like at that point, everything I knew about Tommy was a lie. Like I had to reevaluate my whole idea of who Tommy was as a person.
I mean, see, they can wrap apples. That's the only way he knows how to eat apples now.
It's crazy.
No, man, listen, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying I'm not just gonna grab a raw dog an apple off a table and just go to the house. But I mean, like if it's cut, like sliced up already, and it's like some like on a platter already, then yeah.
Did you need somebody to cut your apple for you? Is that what you're thinking?
Did you need
my mom and dad used to cut my food up all the time.
Did you need like a pocket knife that you could pull out and like cut the apple and eat it off the knife like the old school?
No, yeah. If I ain't got no pocket knife that I can't take into the airport with me to eat an apple with, I don't want it. I want that knife that's too sharp for you to be doing this with.
It sounds like your mom gifted you just some child safety knife, but you didn't have one on you. So
yeah, exactly. But no,
I cut your food, but can't cut yourself with.
I'm about to say. So, Aaron, the reason why we tasted like iron or blood, right? Is because if you're breathing hard enough, you small like capillaries in your lungs burst, and little small, tiny bits of blood get into your, get out into your airways. That's why you taste iron or blood. It's not actually coming up, but it's in your breath.
Wow. Was you had a sore throat yesterday for like the rest of the day after that?
No. Did you?
It was kind of burning a
Yeah.
little bit.
You had track hack.
Yeah, for the rest of the day.
But I had never I literally felt like I was like chewing on like nickels.
Maurice he's a comedian today. He a comedian today because that's hilarious, bro. Dr. Umar facts is hilarious.
But all right, y'all.
Yeah, that's interesting. Real quick, Maurice says red or green apples. Somebody get the president or the CEO or whatever, the czar of Honeycrisp apples, and let him know that I need a sponsorship deal because I eat more Honeycrisp apples than any human being on the earth, and I'm sure of it.
What kind of apples was the one sitting on the table?
Him was like Macintosh. No, them was Gala apples.
Pickles.
I'm impressed with your apple knowledge.
I'm an apple connoisseur.
I think if I had to go with an apple,
Aaron Appleseed. So
that's what they used to call me.
Did they?
No.
All right. Well, wait. Oh, it was a typo. Pickles, nickels. Who knows? But nobody knows what they are.
I've seen pickles post race though for the salt or pre race. Hey, both really.
Love pickles. Yeah. I'll eat pickles whenever.
Would you do pickle shots in a race?
Not in a race, but before a race, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't take anything from anybody off the course unless it's like the official course, whatever.
You was kissing them girls on Wellesley.
No, I was not, good sir.
All right, guys. That's our show. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.